Hello and welcome to the lower back refresh yoga session. This is part of the 12 days of wellness series I'm doing right now. My name is Amanda of Happy Hippie Fitness, and my goal today is to release your lower back, soothe it out, just make you feel good from this short video. So prop wise, you can bring in any blocks if you need them, or a bolster. I don't have a bolster in my house, so I literally am folding up a pillow for 2 movements today. It's a very nice, restorative, relaxing type of yoga, so you won't break a sweat. It's all about releasing. Now, just a little disclaimer, if at any time I say something that you don't want to do, or you don't feel comfortable getting into, or you feel any pain of any sort, do not force yourself into those poses. You can always return back to child's pose or the assisted child's pose, which I will show you how to do in just a second. So whenever a pose comes up and you're not feeling it, your body's not feeling it, listen to your body. You don't have to listen to me. So when you're ready, you can meet me on your mat with a bolster or a pillow like I have, and we're just going to fold it in half. So we're going to get started in a restorative child's pose. So to do a restorative child's pose, you're going to place that pillow right in front of you. Again, for child's pose, you can always go into the wide child's pose, which is your knees will come out about the width of the mat, or you can go for narrow stance, which your thighs are going to be touching together. So fun works better for your body. Everyone's different. Everyone has preferences. And then we're going to push the hips back and crawl the arms forward to rest our head and our chest onto the pillow. Finding what feels good here. You may want to even experiment and push the pillow into your chest. So you can take that bolster, take that pillow, push it into your chest, and then drop the head down. Or maybe you want to rest your head on the pillow. Find what works for you. Let's take a moment to settle in to the body. Let the body release into the mat. Notice what parts of your body are touching the mat and making contact, and what parts of your body are not. Become familiar with your breath pattern. You don't need to change it. But just notice how each inhale feels and how each exhale feels. And try to breathe into any areas of your body that have tension. If it's the lower back, maybe the hips, the knees, the neck. Each inhale, visualize the air being sent to that area. And each exhale, visualize your body releasing. Physically, maybe getting a little bit softer. And coming back to your regular breathing rhythm, just notice the body on the mat again. We're slowly going to walk ourselves up to a seated position from this child's pose. So pressing into the hands, rising up. You can pull the bolster or the blocks aside if you have them here. We're going to get ready for some seated twists. So I'm in that hero pose on my thighs. If that's not comfortable for you, you can go into a crisscross applesauce seated position, whatever position is more comfortable. But when you get there, we're going to focus on engaging our core and making sure our back is flat. So you see how I have a bit of a rounded arch here. I'm going to tuck that in, sit up nice and tall. On an inhale, we're going to bring the arms up over the head. Take a deep breath and elongate the body from the ribs up. Grow taller. And on that exhale, we're going to twist to the right, bringing the right arm down and the left arm to the right thigh. You always want to look over your shoulder if you have the accessibility to do so. You can even push your left hand against your left thigh or your kneecap to lightly deepen the stretch. But no need to force anything today. Okay, good. We're going to return back to the middle position. So deep breath in. Arms go up over the head, and then exhale, we're going to go to the other side, the left side of the body, looking over the left shoulder, using that right hand to kind of push and open up Breathing into the lower back, breathing into the side body on this twist. And returning back to that center position here. Maybe you want to go for some neck rolls, moving the head side to side. You can even drop the chin down, shake it no, shake it yes. And then you can meet me in tabletop position. So you want to come on to your hands, making sure the wrists are under your shoulders and your kneecaps are right underneath your hip bones. You can take some optional cat-cows here if you would like, just to get it started, slowly dropping the belly on the inhale and rounding the back on the exhale. We can just take 3 of these together if that feels good to you. Pushing against the mat on that exhale. And then you can meet me back in that tabletop. I want you to lift your right foot. So we're going to bring the right foot back, the toes down, and we're going to lift up that foot for a second. You can point and flex here, roll out that ankle, and we can drop the foot back down. So we're going to keep that right leg extended, and we're going to hit some more cat-cow. So this is just a different variation. You may feel it more on one side of your body than the other. So same concept. Dropping the chest down on that inhale as your eyes gaze forward, and then as you exhale, round and tuck the back. You can push into that back foot to help with that pressure. And repeat. We have inhale, dropping the chest and belly. Exhale, rounding and tucking, pushing away. 2 more at your own pace. Coming back to center. We are going to take that left arm and knit it underneath the right. Maybe walk the hand on the right side a bit forward. And we're looking underneath our right shoulder here for a bit of a twist. Let the head lie heavy. Maybe you need a block underneath your head to bring your head up a little higher. Coming out of this twist, you can bring those hands back to tabletop, and you can bring that leg back in here. We're going to get ready for our first downward dog of the session, so we're going to walk the hands 1 handprint forward, tuck both the toes, and push the hips up towards the back of the room here. You can pedal out the heels once you get there, if that feels good to you today. Taking a deep breath in, we're going to lean onto our left foot and lift up the right foot. We're going to step it forward on the outside of the right hand. So as you exhale, bring that foot to the mat on the outside of the right hand here. You can drop that back knee if you would like. We're going to go into a dragonfly pose. So dragonfly is opening up the chest on the right side of the body. My left hand stays flat on the mat as I gaze up and open the chest. Think about rotating. Breathing into that back. Again, if you need, you can tuck the back toes and we can elevate our dragonfly. This is actually more of a stretching pose than it is a strength pose for the lower body. So give it a go. It's not as hard as it seems. Your upper body and your hand might be doing more work. So make sure to really spread those fingertips nice and wide to evenly distribute that weight. You can lower the leg if you have it up. And then we're coming back to our hands on the mat here. Now, it is up to you how you want to come into our standing pose. You can physically walk it up to get here, but I'm going to just push off my right foot and come just like so. And we're going to drop the upper body down for a nice forward fold. Swaying side to side, maybe grabbing the elbows if that feels good. Shaking the head yes and no here. Letting gravity take over and almost massage the spine for you. Inhale, we are going to halfway lift. So you're going to rise and push your palms against your shins. Straightening out your back. You want your back to be flat. Think about looking like an upside down L. Gaze forward and pull the shoulder blades back and down. That's how you're going to get that flat back. Gazing forward, chin is tucked, back is flat. And exhale, bend the knees again and fold for forward fold. Making side to side. We can place both the hands on the mat or a block. We're going to step our right leg back and bring the arms up over the head for our warrior one pose. So really sinking into that front thigh. You want to make sure the knee is over the toes, arms up over the head, and we're keeping that lower back protected by keeping the tailbone tucked in. So if you feel like your back is arching like so, physically tuck it in and gaze ahead. Breathing into this position for just a second. This is as intense as it will get today. Because on our next breath, we're going to inhale, exhale, we're going to open up into warrior two. So that means the back foot pivots, you're coming to face the side. And we're going to slowly go into our triangle pose. For triangle pose, you want to straighten out the front thigh, but no need to lock it out. Keep it nice and loose. We are going to push the hips out to the side. So think if there's a wall right where my hand is, pushing the hips out to the side. And then we're going to pretend someone's pulling the other hand, just like so. And then we're going to descend down, either grabbing onto a block if you need it, or you can push your back hand against your leg to go into triangle pose. The cool thing about triangle pose is it's a really delicate, light pose that is stretching the side of your body. The side of our body is actually connected to a lot of the lower back pain, especially if you're sitting around all day on a desk or just in general if you don't move too much during your daily job. This area tends to get really stiff and it feels like lower back pain, but it's connected all to the side of your body here. So triangle really helps to stretch that. The thing with triangle is I like to pretend I'm pushing up against the wall here to stay open. A few more breaths. To come up from triangle pose, you can bend the knee a little bit, and we're going to think about pulling from the side of our body to rise up. Nice. Let's point our toes out forward here. We're going to get ready for a wide forward fold, so if you need your blocks, you can grab them. Pushing the hips back, thinking again about touching your hips all the way to the wall. We're going to release the body one more time. Dropping in deep here. Sending the breath to any parts of the body that hold that tension. So we are going to stay in this pose. We're just going to move our hands and feet around. So our right foot, I want you to start to point it out to the side, and we're going to walk our hands to the right. So we're kind of pivoting ourselves all the way until we're facing the opposite end of our mat here. And then we are going to come down onto our back knee. Bring the other knee behind you. And we can sit back into a quick child's pose here if you need. Let's go for 2 breaths. Coming out of this child's pose in the tabletop, we're going to repeat that same thing on the other side. So we're going to work the left side of our body. What we're going to do is we're going to step the left foot forward into that lunge we were in earlier. Right foot is on the mat. Maybe you need to adjust for a second. And we'll open up the left side into dragonfly. Option again to tuck the back toes and rise up. This is a chest opener, a hip stretch. Again, a very elegant, delicate pose. Make it feel good for you, so you can bring it down on one knee if you need. We're going to rise up again, either into the forward fold manually, or we can press into that left foot, bring the right foot to follow. Drop the head, let it swing, let it sway. We're going to halfway lift on the inhale. So press the palms against the shin, flatten the back, pull the shoulder blades back and down. Exhale, we drop again. Hands go back onto the earth. The left foot goes back this time. And then we are going to rise up into our warrior one on this side of the body. Keeping the front leg bent, shoulders down and back. Breathe in. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to open up into that warrior two. So the back foot pivots, the front leg stays bent for just a second. And then we'll slowly start to straighten that front leg. Don't lock it out completely. Make it as straight as you can, but keep the knee nice and loose. The hips are going to point out to the side, and then pretend somebody is pulling you forward with that right arm. And keep heading down to either your block to rest the hand or press up against your shin. Try to look up if you can. You always want your eyes to gaze in the direction that your twist is going. You're ready again. Keep the knee loose on the right side, using the side body to pull yourself up. Toes are going to come to the side of the mat, hips are going back, and we begin our forward fold. You can shake it out here. Going side to side. We're going to walk our hands to the left side where we started originally. Bring the back knee down into a lunge, the left foot back, and you can meet me quickly in a downward dog. So we're going to rest in the downward dog for a second. We're coming into our final sequence of the day. So pushing all the weight onto the left foot, we're going to bring our right foot up in the air and scoop it underneath until it comes near your nose and drop it down. You guessed it, we're going into pigeon. Now, you're probably wondering, this is a lower back stretch. Why did you just put me in pigeon? Our hips and our lower backs actually kind of correlate when we have pain. So sometimes if we have lower back pain, it could be because of your tight hips. And vice versa, your tight hips can be because of your stiff lower back. So if you need to here, I'm quickly going to grab my pillow because I forgot. Bring your blocks or your pillow into this pose. So if you notice that your hips are really hovering above the ground, you could put a block underneath there. But I like to take the pillow or the block and put it in front of me. And when I come down to my elbows here, I like to rest my head on it. So we're going to sit into this pose for just a few seconds. That's all you have to dedicate this, is a few seconds. So mentally relax the lower body. Relax any tension you're holding in your shoulders and your face and sink into this stretch. Come up. If you are on your forearms, not that long we're staying in it, but I do want you to feel it out for just a few. We're going to get ready to transition to cow. So for cow pose, we're going to bring our left leg around our body till it comes to the front. So to do so, I'm going to lean to the right. I'm going to lift my left leg up. You can manually adjust with your hand and wrap it around. So we're going to hang out here for a breath or two, kind of straightening the posture, really connecting to your spine here. You're getting a stretch on the outside of your hip, your thigh, your quad with cow. So we're hitting all parts of that hip. And we're going to go back to our back. So what we're going to do is we're going to lengthen out that left leg and pull the right leg over just a little bit. So now we're in this figure four seated position. The arms are going to go up over the head. Take a big breath and lengthen your body. Exhale, we're going to forward fold. Try to grab your foot, your shin, your ankle, your knee, whatever you can get on that left side here. And let the body drop. You can always add the bolster or the pillow on your knee, and then you can drop the head down to take out any tension. We're going to get ready for my favorite stretch of all time for lower back. So remove the bolster or block if you have it. My hand is going to the inside of my foot. So my outer wrist is facing the camera, and my hand is really grabbing onto my foot. I'm going to press against my foot and open up my body. So I'm in this nice side bend, and this is where you're going to feel that stretch. Just like in triangle, like I mentioned, the whole side of the body, it's really going to alleviate a lot of lower back pain from being stiff. So here we go. Actively pushing up against that foot with your hand will open the chest and deepen the stretch. Now feel free to keep this pose going. I'm going to show you another option we can go into. You would slowly rise up and bring the hands behind you. We're going to press into that ankle, and we're lifting the hips up for a split second. You can drop the head back. We can bring our hips down to the mat. Crossing our legs in crisscross applesauce. We're coming on to our hands, and you can meet me back in that downward dog. We're going to hit the other side up next, same exact thing. So we're going to lean onto the right foot and lift the left foot up in the air. Bring it forward for our pigeon pose setup, grabbing whatever props you need here. Under the hips, under the head, and let's descend. Checking in with the body, maybe noticing any difference, any shift from the beginning of the practice. Maybe one side feels a little lighter than the other. Maybe both feel different. Begin to place your awareness on the lower back and the hips and notice any difference, any shift. Moving any props out of the way and coming back onto your palms if you're folded over. I'm going to sit towards my left side, and we're going to bring the right leg up and around for our cow stretch. Actively kind of yanking on that knee very gently to deepen it. This side is so much tighter for me. See my foot up in front? The other side of my body, I can like wrap it around, and the right side, foot staying up there. So it's totally natural for one side to be a little more stiff and one side to be a little looser. The body's funny like that. Okay, we're going to extend that right leg out straight and just kind of bring the left thigh out a little bit more. So we're in the figure four. Deep breath in, the arms come up over the head and we lengthen. We grow taller and we exhale and we fold. Grabbing, again, the prop if you need to prop your head up. But release the tension in your neck. Let the head hang heavy. Getting ready to open up into our twist. So we take our right hand and put it on the inside of the right foot. We're going to press our hand actively against the foot as we start to open up the body for our side bend. Option to stay in the side bend or bring the arms back behind you, palms go on the mat. We take a deep breath and we're going to push into our right heel and lift the hips up for a quick release. Okay, coming out of that side bend, if you're in it, let's bring our knees closer to us and get ready to lower onto our back, slow and controlled. Up. There was no control in that on my end. So we're going to take some twist of choice today. There's two versions we can do. We can push both thighs over to one side. This is going to be the more gentle option, both thighs. The option that will give you a deeper stretch, but the intensity may vary, is your right leg will go straight and your left thigh will cross over to the right side. So again, finding what feels good. You can take that block, that bolster, and put it under your knee. I'm going to stay with the single leg stretch, but feel free to bring both thighs up there if it feels better. Exhale, sink a little deeper. And we can slowly make our way back to center, repeating on the other side with the option that feels good to you. So I'm going on my right side, which means my right thigh comes over. Did you hear my back crack? Looking over the opposite shoulder. Coming out of that twist, before we go into our final poses, make sure you have the bolster by your side. We're going to bring both of our knees into our chest and draw some circles with the kneecaps, kind of massaging that lower back against the mat. And we can switch to the other side. Now for Shavasana, I'll recommend two different versions. If your back is really feeling bad, you can keep your feet on the mat and knock your thighs into each other. This is always an option you can take in any yoga class that will keep your lower back a little flatter on the mat. Otherwise, I highly suggest to take your pillow or your bolster and you're going to put it right underneath your kneecaps, okay? Coming down, I'm folding my pillow and I'm going to keep my knees. I need to adjust mine, but if you have a bolster, it's the perfect height. If you have a pillow, you got to put it in half. But now, as you can see here, what it does is it lifts your lower body up a bit so that your torso goes down flatter on the mat and it alleviates any discomfort you will feel. So we're going to take a quick Shavasana. Maybe you want to take a final pose real quick. It could be a happy baby. A good pose I like to do for my lower back is candle. Sometimes the gravity feels really good on your spine. So if you'd like to take that, you can pause. And when you're ready, you can meet me back here in our Shavasana with our knees supported, closing our eyes. We're just bringing the awareness to any difference, any shift in our bodies again. In this final resting pose, noticing the feelings, saying some adjectives in your mind of how your body feels now. Versus the adjectives of how it felt earlier. And just sit with that awareness for a few moments. Start to just notice your body on the mat again. Remember where you are. Bring yourself back to the room. You can roll your ankles and your wrist around. You can begin to bring your feet flat on the mat, and you can pull the bolster out from underneath you. And you can roll onto one side in that fetal position if you'd like. This is where we are going to end the practice today. No need to sit up. So you can open your eyes when you're ready. And thank you so much for joining me today in this practice. I hope it brought you some relief. You can always return back to this practice whenever you need a refresh, in the morning, midday, evening, anytime. And stay tuned for more of the 12 days of wellness classes. There's going to be tons of different ones on my page. They vary from meditations to literal workouts. I'm going to do some pilates, yoga. But yeah, just sit with this feeling and enjoy your day. Thank you.